Good afternoon again. Now, as we spoke last time, today I'm going to deal with the phenomenon of diglossia. Okay. Now, before I proceed, of course, I suppose that you have read a bit about it. Hopefully, yeah. Now, last time we said a few things about diglossia, if you remember. What are the things? Now, who was the first person to deal or to introduce the phenomenon? Holmes? Okay, but Holmes is just talking about it later. The first one, French? Marseille. Okay, he's a French. He's the first one to talk about the phenomenon of diglossia. But it was developed further by some American sociolinguist. What's his name? Ferguson, okay, Ferguson in the article 1959, okay. Now, what did we say last time, if you remember? When we introduced very briefly and quickly this phenomenon of diglossia, what did we say? What is the main feature about diglossia? Yes?
We said diglossia is when you can use two varieties, for example, and use two kinds of varieties, high variety and low variety. The first one, it's most used, it's formal and it's used in school or somewhere else, it's professional, then the other one is used in
informal context.
Yeah.
Yes, good. So here we have the basics of diglossia, in the sense that in a speech community, you have two varieties coming from the same source. It's very important, coming from the same source. Two language varieties coming from the same source. Okay, so for example, you have Standard Arabic and Moroccan Arabic. Both of them come from the same source, which is classical Quranic Arabic in the days of Quraysh, if you remember. So these two varieties are used differently, as we said last time. So Standard Arabic is considered as the high variety, and Moroccan Arabic is considered as the low variety, right? Standard Arabic is used only formal context, while Moroccan Arabic is used only in informal context. So that's what we said so far, okay, about just to introduce about diglossia, just to introduce it for you last time, right? But today we're going to go into the details of this phenomenon, linguistic phenomenon that is referred to in the literature as diglossia. So the key scholars who talked and described diglossia. So there is first of all Charles A. Ferguson, who lived in this period of time between 1921 and 1998. And he wrote an article, a very interesting article, that is still highly viewed up to now, in 1959. And he called it diglossia. He was the first one to introduce this concept and to try to talk and to introduce some of the main features about this diglossia that we're going to see today. Okay? In addition to the fact that it's a high variety, low variety, but there are many other things that differentiate the high variety and the low variety. We have said only one thing so far. It is the difference in function, in the sense that the high variety is used in formal context, while the low variety is used in informal context. That's the one feature. That's one feature that differentiates between the two varieties, the high and the low varieties, in a diglossic situation. And then after this came Joshua A. Fishman. He's a very popular sociolinguist as well. He is the one who suggested the title I gave you last time, if you remember, that summarizes the whole spirit and the whole perspective and the whole scope of sociolinguistics. And he used it in an article. He gave it as the title of an article. He said that he called that article "Who Speaks What Language to Whom and When?" Right? And this question summarizes the main purposes of sociolinguistics. And part of his studies, he also dealt with the phenomenon of diglossia, and he further elaborated on the diglossic situation. He came up with other types of diglossic situations, right, as we are going to see the details. So he develops Ferguson's ideas, and introduces what he called extended bilingualism. So we're going to see that he found that there are some contexts, some speech communities that have bilingualism that functions like a diglossia, right? As we're going to see in the details in the following slides. So Ferguson, in his article that he called Diglossia and published in 1959 in page 88, he defines diglossia as follows. He says that, I let you read it, okay? I don't want to interfere with you. Yes, please. And then we will discuss it. Can you close the window? Can you close the window? I don't want this to be recorded in the lecture and put on YouTube. Strange university. Yeah. So this is part of this definition. So there are some features introduced in this definition about diglossia. What does it say? What are these features about diglossic situation? So diglossia is what? I'm going to help you to go quickly. Is stable. So that's one of the features about diglossia. Stability, and we're going to see it in the following slides. So stability in the sense that, like in Morocco, for instance, diglossia has been existing for a long time. So it is a stable situation, right? Stable language situation. It might develop somehow, as we're going to see with our context, in the sense that now we have a diglossia developing into what some linguists call triglossia. Now, some sociolinguists, Moroccan sociolinguists especially, and others, they no more talk about diglossia from Morocco because they say that now we are having something else being developed in addition to two varieties, high and low. There is a third variety in the middle of them because of the education of people that has been developing for a long time now. So there is now a new variety that is developed called Middle Moroccan Arabic. This, as we're going to see later, this kind of Middle Moroccan Arabic is a version that is that goes towards Standard Arabic. Mainly used by educated people, like you, for instance. When you are talking to your parents, if you have somebody, your parents are not educated, or somebody else who is not educated, never been to school, your Moroccan Arabic is different from his. Your Moroccan Arabic goes towards Standard Arabic, while his Moroccan Arabic still Moroccan Arabic, low kind. So that's where they talk about this new developments called triglossia. So that's why it says relatively stable language. It is stable, but it might develop somehow in some other directions, as it is the case for Moroccan triglossia, as some sociolinguists refer to it. In addition to that, there is now the high variety here. He's talking about the high variety. The low variety, we have dialects of the language, but in addition to that, we have the high variety, which is highly codified. We're going to see that one of the features that differentiate between the low and the high variety is that the high variety is standardized, codified, like Standard Arabic. And we're going to see what we mean by that. While Moroccan Arabic is not. You don't have a lot of books that talk about the grammar of Moroccan Arabic, do you? But in Standard Arabic, you have a lot. So that's a sign of codification, highly codified, superposed variety. High, superposed, it means high, formal. Another feature of the high variety is that it is learned in schools. This is another difference, okay? It is learned, the high variety is learned in schools, formal education. And it is also written, another feature, the high variety is usually written, while the low variety might not be written, okay, in some cases. And then formal, the idea of function. High variety used in formal context and the low variety used in the, okay, the informal contexts. Now we're going to see all these features. Here they are for you. The features of diglossia. The first one is function, which we have already introduced. The next one is prestige, literary heritage, 4, acquisition, standardization, stability, grammar, lexicon, and phonology. You can take notes, okay? I want to show you the article before we continue. So this is the article. If you go to my blog, I will put a link for it for you. Okay? In the book, you can find reference talking about it, but this is the original article published by this guy. So this is the article, diglossia. Okay? And as you can see, let me try to find this definition here, if I could do it quickly. Before we proceed to the features, good. Anyway, so if you see with me here, he starts in this page here. He starts defining this high variety and the low variety. So superposed variety in diglossia will be called the high variety, or simply H, as we're going to do as well. And the regional dialects will be called L, or low varieties, collectively simply L, as we're going to do in our lectures as well. All the defining languages have names for H and L, and those are listed in the accompanying table. So here we have examples. So for Arabic, in the Arabian context, H is called Classical Arabic, Al-Fusha. You know, people, even as American, they know Arabic, by the way. Okay? And they do studies that show that they know maybe Arabic better than we do, sometimes. Anyway, just between quotations. And L is called Al-Ammiya, Al-Darij, okay, Al-Ammiya. So that's what we do, right? So Moroccan Arabic, we call it Darija, or Darij for other places, or Al-Ammiya, okay? Now, Egyptian Arabic, he will focus here with regard to Egyptian context. He referring to because that was the context which he knew best at that time. The same thing for other contexts, like German. You have Standard German. I don't know how to read this, but you can read it. Okay, the high variety is this one, Standard German. And the low variety is Swiss. This is the name of it. Okay? And another context, you have High Creole French and Greek, H and low. You have Katarivusa for the Greek, Greece. Okay? If you go to Greece, they have this diglossia as well. They have the high variety, which is called Katarivusa, and the low variety that is called Demotiki. Right? Now, after this, he talks about other features. Now, you see here the first one, which is called function. Yes. Then prestige. Then literary heritage, acquisition, standardization, stability, grammar, lexicon, and phonology. Right? So what I did for you is try to take the most important points, but please, for details, do refer to this article, okay? It's one of the basics that you should learn. Okay, now we have the first one, function. And that's what we said already, right? We said that the high variety is used in formal contexts, and the low variety is used in informal contexts. And in this table here, you have some examples of formal context, like a sermon, like a speech in a parliament, like a university lecture for departments of Arabic or for history, geography, whatever is taught in Arabic, and newspaper editorials or TV programs, especially formal TV programs like news TV programs, okay, etc. So in these kinds of formal contexts, we use a high variety, while the low variety is used in informal contexts, like, for example, instruction to servants or conversation with friends or family, and so on and so forth. So needless to do this again to explain because we have explained it several times. I just let you, okay, take notes quickly, please, if you don't mind, so that we move on. So next one is prestige. Now the speakers regard the high variety as superior to the low variety in a number of respects. For example, the high variety is considered more educated, more beautiful, more logical, better able to express important thoughts. Right? If you think about Standard Arabic, by opposition to Moroccan Arabic, usually we regard Standard Arabic, of course, as more educated, more beautiful, more logical, more prestigious in general terms, and also better able to express important thoughts, etc. And that's what we mean by the high variety as being more prestigious than Moroccan or the low variety Moroccan Arabic in our context, for instance. That's why I put for you the guy, that picture. It's like a fashion or something, like prestigious. Yeah. Normally it moves. It's a kind of animated cartoon, but it didn't work for me. I put it and then it didn't move, so next time. Now let's move on. Literary heritage. So concerning this one, it says that there is a sizable body of written literature in the high variety, which is held in high esteem by the speech community. If you take this and relate it to our context, especially in relation to Standard Arabic. Now you know that Standard Arabic embodies or holds with it a number of literary heritage that comes from old times. So for instance, we talk about mu'allaqat, we talk about all our literary figures and their products, while Moroccan Arabic doesn't have the same literary heritage, not a very big written literary heritage. And also in terms of production, the one that we have in Standard Arabic is much more important, much more significant than the one in Standard Arabic in terms of quantity, I'm talking, okay? And also in terms of quality. Okay, you can have few things in terms of Moroccan Arabic, for Moroccan Arabic, like some examples like Khobz Hafi, for instance. You have some sayings in Moroccan history, some of the texts there in Moroccan Arabic, especially the dialogues. Okay, but Standard Arabic is the one that holds a sizable body of written literature. And also, people view this as more important. The literature, the written literature in Standard Arabic, view it as more important than the one in Moroccan Arabic. Good? The next thing is, or the feature is called acquisition. In the sense that if we compare the acquisition of Moroccan Arabic to the acquisition of Standard Arabic, when do we learn Moroccan Arabic? When do we learn it? At home, when we are children. And when do we learn Standard Arabic? At school, when we are, maybe if now people who go to the kindergarten, they learn it at the ages of 4, 5 somehow. But usually people at the age of 7, okay, they learn Standard Arabic. So that's the difference in terms of acquisition. Adults use L in speaking to children, and children use it L in speaking to one another. So therefore they learn it as a mother tongue, they learn it at home. The actual learning of H or high variety is chiefly accomplished by the means of formal education at school, at later stage. That's why, psychologically speaking, we are much more connected somehow to the low variety, Moroccan Arabic, even if we don't consider it as prestigious, right? In the sense that when we are children, we start learning, so we are socialized. This is another aspect of sociolinguistics. We are socialized in Moroccan Arabic. We are brought up since we are children in Moroccan Arabic. Therefore, we are much more connected to it psychologically, culturally, sociolinguistically, socio-culturally, and everything, in many regards. Good? Standardization. It means that there are studies and books on grammars, dictionaries, treatises on pronunciation, styles, and so on of the high variety. There are lots of books that describe the grammar, the norms, the linguistic norms of Standard Arabic in terms of phonology, phonetics, grammar, syntax, morphology, while the ones for Moroccan Arabic are growing only recently. Okay, so therefore standardization differentiates between high variety and the low variety. Another feature in terms of standardization, if you look at Standard Arabic, within the whole Arab community, from the Maghreb up to the Middle East, how many Standard Arabics do we have? One. That's the meaning of the second part of this slide. There is an established norm for pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary, which allows variation only within certain very limited extent. If you speak Standard Arabic, Moroccan Arabic, here, Standard Arabic here, the same as another one. The differences are very minor, especially they are related to accents. That's why when you listen to somebody Moroccan in TV, reading or speaking Standard Arabic is different from the one from Egypt, different from the one in the Middle East. You can distinguish that. But the norms, majority of the norms are the same, just difference in terms of accent, intonation, and pronunciation somehow. Right? So this is the meaning of this part of the slide. There is an established norm for pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary among the speech community concerning the high variety. And it doesn't allow a lot of variation. Only variation we have is in terms of accent, as I said. Now, if you compare this to the low varieties, now in our case we're talking about Moroccan Arabic. So how many Moroccan Arabics do we have? Many. So Moroccan Arabic, Algerian Arabic, Tunisian Arabic, Libyan Arabic, and so on and so forth. So many. So there is a lot of variation in there by opposition to standard Arabic. There are established norms that don't allow for variation. Go on. Stability. It is a stable linguistic situation. That's why in our context, diglossia has been existing for a long, long time. Okay? Since before we were born. So the article was published when? Of Ferguson, 1959. Who was born in 1959 here? Even me, I'm not born in 1959, right? I was born too much later. No, not even 60s, later than the 60s, okay? So, it is a stable language situation. Diglossia typically persists at least several centuries, and evidence in some cases seems to show that it can last well over 1,000 years. Okay? It is a stable language situation. Doesn't change. It changes a little bit, but it doesn't change in the sense that it disappears. It develops into new versions. As I told you, we now in Morocco, some sociolinguists, they talk about triglossia. They no more talk just about two varieties. They talk about three varieties, and those three varieties form a kind of triglossia. Okay, we continue. The grammar. Compare, before you start writing, I want you to compare between the grammar of standard Arabic and the grammar of Moroccan Arabic. ذهب الولد إلى المدرسة. شال الولد المدرسة. What do you think? Which grammar is not complex but more sophisticated? Yeah, standard Arabic. It has a lot of grammar there. Okay? And the grammar here we are having here is what we call case marking. I'rab. I'rab. Case marking in English. Okay? Case marking. So the case marking is omnipresent in standard Arabic, while it is almost absent, I would say, in Moroccan Arabic. We don't have fatha, jarra, damma, kasra. No. We have only sukun, maybe most of the words. So even it's yeah. So H has grammatical categories not present in the low variety and has an inflectional system. You have studied maybe, or I've already studied morphology, or you're going to start it this year? Okay, so that's why you study inflectional grammar or inflection. So a low variety and has an inflectional system of nouns and verbs which is much reduced or totally absent. It is present in the high variety but reduced or maybe absent, totally absent in the low variety. Case marking is present in standard Arabic while it is absent in Moroccan Arabic. That's the repetition, or not repetition, but explanation of the previous statement. The same thing applicable for other diglossic situations, like in German. So standard German has 4 cases in the noun, while Swiss German, which is the low variety, has only 3 cases in the noun. Okay? But maybe if you compare between standard Arabic and Moroccan Arabic, the case marking and the grammar, you will notice, you will understand, you will feel this much better. That the grammar in the high variety is more sophisticated, is more complex, present, than the one in Moroccan Arabic. It doesn't mean that in Moroccan Arabic you don't have a grammar, by the way. This is a misconception. Some Moroccans do have this kind of misconception in the sense that they think that Moroccan Arabic doesn't have i'rab or doesn't have other aspects of grammar. Yes, it does have. You can say the subject. In Moroccan Arabic, you can describe a sentence. You have a sentence. You have subject, verb, complement. You don't have case marking, but you have other aspects of grammar. So this is a misconception that you should be careful about. The same thing for Amazigh, by the way. Amazigh also has grammar, right? Good, so you can finish taking notes later when you go online. Now, the other one is the lexicon, okay? The lexicon. The high variety includes in its total lexicon technical terms and learned expressions which have no regular low variety equivalents, since the subjects involved are rarely, if ever, discussed in pure L. Maybe this is very much applicable if you go to literature and literary terms and of Standard Arabic, because Standard Arabic has a lot of literary heritage, as we said. Okay? All the sciences, in fact. If you go to all the sciences, for instance, if you go to grammar, the study of grammar, especially of Standard Arabic, you will find that Standard Arabic includes a number of vocabulary items that don't have an equivalent in Moroccan Arabic, right? For example, you have studied biology in Standard Arabic, right? Yes. What is it in علوم طبيعية? Yes. Now, how many vocabulary items do you have in there? It's a lot. And most probably, not most probably, but definitely they don't have an equivalent in Moroccan Arabic, right? That's the meaning of this statement. The high variety includes in its total lexicon technical terms and learned expressions which have no regular L equivalents. Why? Simply because of this feature which we have introduced in the beginning, the one of function. Where do you study biology, in education, formal context. So, and that's a context where we don't use Moroccan Arabic, we don't use the low variety, we use only the high variety, we use Standard Arabic. So, automatically, definitely, you have this result that the high variety includes in its total lexicon technical terms and learned expressions which have no regular low variety equivalent. Since the subjects involved are rarely, if ever, discussed in pure L. The same thing of the discipline of mathematics. You have studied mathematics in Arabic. Yes? Algebra, and, you know. The low variety includes in its total lexicon popular expressions. This is the other side of the story. The low variety includes in its total lexicon popular expressions in the names of very homely objects or objects of very localized distribution which have no regular H or high variety equivalent, since the subjects involved are rarely, if ever, discussed in pure H. And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong in this one. For instance, we know that we have, for example, these times, the problem with Moroccan Arabic, I don't know why, is that when you want to introduce in a formal context some words from Moroccan Arabic, it triggers some laughter. For me, it's ordinary, but I'm worried of saying this word, and then you will all start laughing. Can you agree with me not to laugh when I say the word? You agree with me? Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now, in these times, you know that it's how cold weather, right? Now, many Moroccans drink a kind of soap. What is it? Yes, that's one. And the other one? Bisara, okay? Don't laugh. You agree, okay? So, this is a term. Do you have it in standard Arabic? No. Al-Harira, even Al-Harira. Do you have it? No. So, what does it mean? It means that because of using Moroccan Arabic in this kind of informal context, we have this tendency that we use Moroccan, we have some verbs, or not some verbs, but generally speaking, we have some items, some vocabulary, some words in Moroccan Arabic for some objects that we don't have in standard Arabic. Right? Like these two we have mentioned now. And that's also due to the idea or the story of function. Okay? When you use something for something, you have items for it. But when you don't have items for it. So this is the difference in terms of lexicon between the high and the low variety. For example, you have al-hadiya. Yes? Al-hadiya. No, not al-hadiya. That's somehow, yes, it's coming from that one. But this one is more, specific. It's quite different. You have people going, and you have a horse. You have, so different from al-hadiya. Okay? Yes, okay. So that's the what we mean by this. We go on. Do you remember some technical terms that you have learned from mathematics or biology? Can you help, because it's a long time now I studied this, I don't remember a lot. Can you help me remember a few words? معدلات? Huh? دالة. Other terms? One person. Please, if you don't mind. Okay? You are too many in the group, and if you continue this, it's something else. Can you raise your hand? So we have dalla, and then other technical terms from mathematics or biology? Tasahhur, yes? Logarithm, yes. So this is again, do you have this in Moroccan Arabic in the low variety? You don't. Okay? So that's the story. The phonology, the sound systems of okay, I must correct this one. The sound system of the high variety and the low variety constitutes a single phonological structure of which the low variety phonology is the basic system. This means that it's related to this idea of historicity. Some people refer to it as historicity. If you look at the phonological system of high variety and the low variety, they are similar, right? They are similar. They come from same origin, right? And of course, in the low variety, there could be some variation, but they belong to the same phonological system. I'm talking here about system, the sounds and how the sounds function, how the sounds work. Phonology, you remember phonology, or you are studying phonology now? Last year. So yes, you remember. So phonology, you have the combination of sounds, the way they combine. Okay, there is a system in there. So the phonology of Moroccan Arabic, the low variety, and that of the high variety Standard Arabic, okay, this come from the same source. There is only a slight variation. But if you compare, for example, the phonology of French with that of Arabic, so there is a big difference in there, right? The phonology of French is so much different from the phonology, or the phonological system of Standard Arabic or even Moroccan Arabic. That's why they are not considered as parts of diglossia. In diglossia, another feature of diglossia is that the two varieties, the high and the low, they should have or stem from the same kind of phonological system. Okay, belong to the same source. With, of course, some variation in the low variety, but that's another. Okay, you missed. Okay, let me give you some time to take that. So the purposes of all these features is that if you go to some kind of speech community and you have these features, then you can call it a diglossic speech community. If you don't call it a diglossic speech community. So not all speech communities are diglossic. Only the ones where we have these features of function, grammar, standardization, phonology, all these kinds of features, we refer to them as diglossic speech communities. Okay? Examples of diglossic speech communities, we have in Haiti, where we have French as the high variety, and Haitian Creole as the low variety, and they both of them again have or respect these features that we have introduced, the 9 features we have introduced in the previous slides. Another example is Switzerland, where you have Standard German as the high variety and Swiss German as the low variety. And of course, other Arabian speech communities in our countries, Arabic countries, starting from Morocco, going to Egypt and Tunisia and all others. For example, here we have Egypt, so the high variety is classical, standard Arabic, no more talking about classical Arabic now. And colloquial or Egyptian Arabic or vernacular. Okay? Now, if you go to all these speech communities, you will find that there are two varieties, and they respect the features we have introduced so far, okay? Like function, lexicon. Can you remind me, please? So we have introduced function, grammar, lexicon, prestige, standardization, phonology, stability, acquisition, grammar, literary heritage, and lexicon. Those are the features to help sociolinguists distinguish diglossic speech communities. Other differences in terms of institutional support systems. So the low variety typically is acquired at home as a mother tongue. Is a more explanation for what we have seen. It is continuously used throughout life, from childhood, and all the times we use only Moroccan Arabic. Used for familiar interactions. The high variety is learned through socialization and never at home. Okay? It is learned in education, of course. Diglossic societies are marked by access restriction. Entry to formal institutions such as school and government requires knowledge of IH variety. These are some other detailed characteristics or features of diglossic communities in terms of institutional support systems, in the sense that, like if you take this last one, entry, if you want to be successful in education, you have you have to acquire, to learn the high variety, standard Arabic, right? Also, in terms of doing your government administration stuff, so you need knowledge and mastery of standard Arabic. Moroccan Arabic can't serve you anything, okay? Especially written matters, right? It can help you in communication, but doesn't help you in terms of your written documents and so on and so forth. And this is what we mean by diglossic societies are marked by access restriction. There is some kind of restriction of access to a few formal tasks, needs, in the sense that only mastery of the high variety can allow you to access those things. Education, government, administration, and so on and so forth. And that's what we mean by institutional support systems, in the sense that diglossia is reinforced via institutions. Okay? The institutions play a role in reinforcing, consolidating, and supporting the diglossia situation. Importance attached by community members to using the rich or the right variety in the appropriate context. That's why when we were talking about some Moroccan Arabic terms, in a formal context like ours, usually there is laughter, right? It's not, because it's not accepted so much, okay? And then the same thing if you speak Moroccan Arabic, okay, in a parliament or formal context, it is not very much accepted by the community. So importance is attached by the community member to using the right variety in the appropriate context. And that's a kind of institutional support system for the diglossia situation. Good? You understand this concept, this idea? In the sense that, for instance, if you, as I told you, the example I told you, for example, let's suppose you belong to the Department of Arabic, right? And now I'm your teacher of teaching you, for example, grammar, nahu, or balagha, or whatever. And then I start using Moroccan Arabic a lot. Do you accept it? You don't. But if you start using that, doing that, or teaching you in standard Arabic, which is the appropriate thing to do in our context, you accept it. And that's what we mean by this statement, okay? Importance attached by the community members. You are members of the community as well, as students. To using the right variety in the appropriate context. Same thing for the teacher. If you are in that Department of Arabic, and he asks you a question, then you have to answer. So your answer, if you do that in Moroccan Arabic, he won't accept it from you, definitely from a teacher. But if you do answer in standard Arabic, he will accept it. That's the meaning of institution, one of the ways of institutional support system. Speakers regard the H or the high variety as superior to the low variety in a number of respects. We have mentioned that, prestige, etc. In some cases, speakers claim they do not speak the low variety, at least superiority for religious and or literary reasons. In religious, that's because it's a formal context, so priority is given to the high variety. The same thing for literature and the literary products. It's much more significant, much more important if you do it in standard Arabic, because it will be more popular than if you do it in Moroccan Arabic. Strong tradition of formal grammatical study, and so we have mentioned that, grammar and standardization. Good? So that's, so far, diglossia as described by Ferguson. Any questions, please, before we continue? Any questions or any additions if you wish to add? Yes? Any questions or comments or additions you would like to contribute? So clear? Okay? So Fishman takes this concept of diglossia and extends it. Okay, he extends it because he noticed that there are some other speech communities where we have diglossia in a different way. So he's talking about, talking about a kind of extended diglossia. Extended diglossia. He says that extended diglossia includes speech communities in which the high and the low varieties are not necessarily closely related varieties or close related varieties. You remember the feature of phonology? I told you that phonology in diglossic community or in diglossia, the two varieties have the same kind of or stem from the same kind of phonological system. Okay, they come from the same source, Moroccan Arabic and Standard Arabic. Both of them come from classical Arabic on the old times of Quraysh and so on. You had classical Quranic, what some people call as Quranic Arabic, and then by the modernity, classical Arabic now is becoming like standard Arabic because of modernity, because of the new changes, the new terms and new concepts and so on. And Moroccan Arabic. So both of them, they have the same, they stem from the same phonological system. But according to Fishman, he says that there are some speech communities where there is the high variety and there is the low variety. The high variety is used only in formal context, the low variety is used only in formal context. But the two varieties, the high and the low, they have different sources. They are different in terms of structure, in terms of systems, in terms of grammar. They don't come from the same source. They are coming from different sources. So it includes speech community in which the high and the low varieties are not necessarily close related varieties. You can have even sometimes different languages. Another thing he noticed that is that two or more varieties are mother tongues, each of different segments of the population. In our context, we have the Moroccan Arabic and we have the Standard Arabic. So this is applicable for all the speech community. Okay? All the speech community. But for him, he is talking about having different segments of the population and they have their own age variety, low variety. Each segment has its own age and low variety. No more talking about one whole speech community. So therefore, he goes into the details of diglossia. Fishman's extended diglossia, so he says that there are 4 variations of linguistic relationship between high and low. The high variety as classical, the low as vernacular, the two being genetically related. High as classical, the low as vernacular, the two not being genetically related. So this is for the approach or the concepts adopted by Fishman, extended diglossia. He says that the high variety and the low variety not being genetically related. They come from different sources. We're going to show you the examples, okay, in another slide. The high as written, formal, spoken, and the low as vernacular, the two being genetically unrelated. So that's a repetition somehow. Sorry for that. Let's move on to this one, maybe it's much better. According to Fishman, diglossia is mixed. He talks about some context, some bilingual context, bilingual societies that have the feature of diglossia. Can you help, please? Can you help me explain? Be quiet. Thank you. He talks about this story of, in some contexts, you can have mixture of diglossia and bilingualism. A mixture of diglossia and bilingualism, like in the case of Paraguay. So when you see the sign of plus there, it means that Paraguay is a bilingual community and a diglossic community. Bilingual community, and the two languages spoken in there function in the same way of the high and the low variety, although they stem or they come from different sources. And that's the meaning of extended diglossia. He no more just talks about diglossia for those related languages or varieties like Moroccan or Standard Arabic. They come from the same source, classical Arabic. He's talking or extending the concept of diglossia beyond that to even two different languages. Like in Paraguay, there is a high language, we could call it like the high language, different language from the low language, another different language. They come from different sources, but they function in the same way of the high and the low variety in a diglossic community. You understand? I think it's clear. Like if you say, in Morocco we have French and we have Arabic. French and Arabic, they come from different sources. And there is some element of diglossia in there, if you think about it carefully. Because also French is like Standard Arabic. We learn it only in school. We use it for formal context. But the phonology is different. Grammar, yes, the same thing for grammar, and it has standardization, and all others, it's the same. But they are different in terms of phonology system. They come from different sources. But they have features of diglossia. So somehow, it's similar to that. Good? Why you want to do? No, later you can. We are going to be finished right now, in a few minutes. But you don't come if you want to go early. Even if it is urgent. Please, you sit down. We are going to finish in a few minutes. Please. Okay? I already explained this last time, and I said that you shouldn't do it. If you go urgently, another one urgently, another one urgently, just go. I'm sorry for this, but I have to give order in my class. I don't like it. If you have this in other classes, I don't like it in my class. Why? Simply because I would like my class to have order, to help explain the lesson, to help you understand. It's part of your learning. Do you agree with this, or else? I'm speaking to myself. Do you think it's logical? It makes sense or no? Because if one student is doing this, then another one is going to do the same. And we're keeping them. So, doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not even 2 hours. It's less than 2 hours. You finish early and you can leave. No problem. I didn't want to record this, but now it's going to be recorded on YouTube. So, I'm sorry for that. So let's go on to another. So that's the main thing about extended diglossia. The main thing about extended diglossia. Because in the normal diglossia, you have 2 varieties stemming from the same source, but they function differently. Fishman goes beyond that and says that we can have diglossia even for different language systems, coming from different sources. But they function the same way like a high variety and a low variety. Okay? That's Fishman's concept of extended diglossia. I mentioned in the beginning the story that diglossia is a stable situation, linguistic situation, in the sense that it can stand for thousands of years, but it can develop into new versions, as it is the case for Morocco. But before we go to Morocco, so overlapping diglossia and triglossia. Now we are more people. Some people talk about triglossia. For example, you have this guy, okay, Kifili, 1978, and you have Mr. Yussi, he's Moroccan sociolinguist. He was my supervisor for PhD, by the way. You see, 1995. So, concerning Kifili, 1978, he talks about the use of English in Swahili and local language. So, he says that there is English, Swahili, and local language. They function in a triglossic situation. Okay? But let's move on to the one applicable for Morocco. In Morocco, the use of Arabic in Morocco, because of the times, because of the increase in education, more and more people are more and more educated. So what happens, and also not only to education, also due to satellite TVs and books that are printed and so on, radios, and now especially with the telecom and technology. So all this helped into building a new generation of Moroccans that have a kind of elevated Moroccan Arabic. A kind of Moroccan Arabic that goes and approaches standard Arabic. It takes many words from standard Arabic, right? And hence the appearance of this kind of variety that comes between Moroccan Arabic and standard Arabic. So it is called Middle Moroccan Arabic. Middle Moroccan Arabic. Mm-hmm. Why?
For example, Moroccan, they go to another, for example, Asia,
Yes, that's kind of lingua franca you got. So for example, for us Moroccans, usually if we go to other countries, they don't understand our Moroccan Arabic. What we tend to do is to go more into the direction of Standard Arabic. So take from Standard Arabic vocabulary and some of its grammar and use it in our Moroccan Arabic. So that's Middle Moroccan Arabic, right? And hence the appearance of this term or concept called triglossia. So Middle Moroccan Arabic, according to UC, it says that it can be used in semi-formal contexts. Formal, informal, and semi-formal context. Even in TV programs, you can have now people talking in Moroccan, Middle Moroccan Arabic, when the dialogue tends to be semi-formal, not like presenting the news. Presenting the news is a very formal context. But in dialogues in TV, you can have some semi-formal dialogues where people tend to use Middle Moroccan Arabic and not the Moroccan Arabic we have in the streets and everyday life. Right? And that's the term, that's hence the concept of triglossia. There are a lot of details about that. I can post for you online details in relation to this. But I just want you to understand the concept of triglossia there. Because of this appearance of this middle variety, we have now triglossia, according to UC and others. In some other countries, we no more just talk about diglossia or triglossia, they talk about polyglossia. Last 1977, a research in Malaysia where we have more than one variety there. And they have also repartition in terms of function. Because in Malaysia, one of the particular things about Malaysia is that it has different ethnic variety, ethnic backgrounds, many ethnicities in there, religions and so on, and hence a lot of functions in that. Okay, and that's why they have different languages or varieties for different functions, not only two, but many varieties for different, language situations. So please, as I told you, now in the class we can't go to the details of the details, but please do read, right? Do read what you have as books. It's good for you, okay? If you have some high aspirations after your BA, after your graduation. And that's it. Thank you.